YouTube, how's it freaking going? Hello and welcome back to another video. As you can tell, it is a solo workout. Andre told me he was gonna come today, but I guess he slept in or whatever the case may be. But needless to say, if he comes or he doesn't come, it's not gonna dictate whether or not I come. So I show up anyways. But today is day number 20 of Impetus Strength, the 5th week. We're coming at the closing of the 5th week, which is back and biceps. I love me some back and biceps. I love me every fucking day, man. Every day is a beautiful day to become better. I heard something in a podcast that I need to share with you guys. Essentially, we live in a society where we have so much stuff. So much stuff. Everything we have is beautiful and so much innovation to make our lives better and easier. And yet we are so miserable. Let's put this into perspective. Let's look at our phones, for example. Now, just think about all the tasks your phone has alleviated. Or rather, has use for. Right? One of which being a compass, calculator, notepad, movie player, video game console. You play games on your phone. You have all the information in the world. You have a dictionary in there. You literally have a camera. Music is essentially CD players. There's so many things your phone has the ability to do. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It literally has so many functions. And sometimes your phone's not working or your phone died when you were doing something and we get all upset. But then we need to take a step back and realize, holy crap, holy shit, this phone is fucking awesome, man. Like, and the transformation of phones over the course of the last 20 years has been remarkable, right? Now, I first got a phone when I was in grade 8, which I believe is 13. So about 13 years old. And first ever phone I had was an iPhone 4. Prior to the iPhone 4, I could never even take a picture of myself. You know, I didn't have access, like I had an iPad, but it didn't have a camera. The only way I could ever take a picture was once I got that iPhone in grade 8. I mean, probably for the best. I mean, I'm sure I would have took some funny photos when I was younger that I wouldn't mind looking back at. But it's crazy how much technology's innovated and how much we take it for granted, really. I mean, a lot of us are so fucking negative about a lot of things. Like even the concept, I've said it before, but the concept of pulling up to a red light, right? And that pisses people off because they have to wait. But the reality of it is, that's beautiful, man. Like electricity is not necessarily something you could see. But electricity is powering that light to dictate the color it's showing to me. And that color has, in our society, became a symbol of stopping. That's fucking insane, man. It really is cool. But another thing that needs to be said about your phone, because your phone is a great servant, but a terrible master. And what that means is your phone, like I said, has knowledge from all of history. We know we can learn anything on the fly. I can Google right now how far the sun is from the moon or blah, 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 and know right away. And that's fucking powerful. That's so powerful. I mean, any endeavor you guys want to go on, there's always information and there's always people you can listen to help you, right? And one of the biggest things that I could say would be using your phone as a servant versus using your phone as a master would be the content you consume. I mean, obviously, I believe in moderation, right? And balance, which means still watching those shows if you want to watch, or the reality shows and all that shit. But you need to have that balance where you spend some time, you know, listening to a podcast or watching a video of a speech or learning something. There's so many fucking learning videos. It's all about the way you utilize your phone, though, right? So, I mean, needless to say, we can't use our phone as a servant. Or rather, we have to use our phone as a servant, but we can't let it be our master. And a lot of people let their phones be their master. So don't be one of those people. I mean, use your phone the right way. Text your parents. Tell them you love them. That's another thing, man. You can text your parents. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Tell your parents you love them. Tell everyone that's in your life that you love them. Regardless of if you're in a relationship or romantic relationship or not. Valentine's Day is a day of love, and love is shown in a lot of different ways. Little side topic there, but last thing before we get into the gym, which was something else that was said on this podcast. Shout out Mindset Mentor, Rob Dial. That guy's a genius. Love him. He's helped me out very, very much. Kind of like a mentor in a sense, I would say. But the last thing I got to say prior to getting in the gym is we are living better than kings 200 years ago. Think about that. Kings 200 years ago did not have the access to food that we have, to phones and all that type of stuff. It's pretty crazy to think of. I mean, we living pretty fucking well right now. I said to one of my friends at work the other day, if I was to tell, like if my great-great-grandpa was to come back to right now and look at me and tell me, and I would tell him that I've never hunted before and probably will never hunt in my life unless I want to do it for sport or whatever, he would look at me like I'm an idiot. Or even starting a fucking fire, man. I mean, I've never started a fire. I do think that's a great life skill to have. But those types of things have kind of, you know, life's been easier. I've never had to hunt. That's an insane thought. Like, to my grandpa, he would be in shock. He'd be like, how are you eating then? You don't have to farm? You don't have to hunt? But yeah, I mean, needless to say, guys, the moral of the story is appreciate what you got. A lot of us don't. We have so much beautiful things in our life, and we are living in the best time ever right now. And things are just going to get better and better and better. AI, all that type of stuff is just making our lives better. Utilize the tools you have the right way. But without further ado, it's gym time. You know, it's always funny when I see Andre's dad, but not Andre. His dad's always telling me that he's sleeping or he's playing video games or something like that. But he did work late last night, so I guess I can give him a bit of leeway in that regard. But first exercise, like usual, it's obviously going to be the compound movement. Today being back, so we're going to be hitting some deadlifts. Now, I have increased the weight since last week, which was 335. This week I'm going to be doing 345 for the 5 reps. Making sure that I'm doing it the right way and trying to, you know, work on the form, of course, because deadlift is definitely one that I need to work on, because I noticed before that, and even in my first set, because I do a first set, because I'm by myself, I'm going to be doing 1 set prior to recording. That way when I'm talking to you guys, it will be my rest, because if not, I'm giving myself a little too much rest, so got to work around it that way. But what I was getting at is when I'm doing my deadlifts, I'm kind of coming up with my butt first and then pulling with my back, whereas I want to come up more synchronized, more getting that hinge motion. So I got to work on that, but I'm gonna go a little heavier here. Of course, if I do start to feel any sorts of pain in my back because of the way I'm doing it, I will stop, lower the weight, because I don't want to ego lift, because ego lifting will just make yourself get injured. And you need to listen to signals your body's giving you, right? Your body gives you signals, pain in this case, which means that I need to slow down with the weight and focus more on getting that form down. But another thing Andre's dad told me is he would show me a couple videos of guys doing pull-ups, or muscle-ups to be more specific, weighted muscle-ups, which is fucking insanely impressive. You can do a weighted muscle-up with like a plate in between your legs. That's so impressive, especially because you have to control the plate as well, right? Can't just swing up. There's always the opportunity of the plate swinging around and hitting you or whatever, but super impressive. And I think the next series that I'm gonna do is road to hip muscle-ups, because I've actually never done a clean muscle-up before. I'm more focused on getting stronger and bigger, but doing muscle-ups is so impressive. And in my honest opinion, I think it's so much more impressive to be able to do a weighted muscle-up than it is to do, I don't know, let's say 4 plates deadlift. Definitely less people that could do that. But I guess it's kind of prioritizing, because, you know, weightlifting, you want to be heavier, but with calisthenics, you obviously want to be a bit more lean. Because the more you weigh, the heavier you have to lift, right? But enough said, let's do this. We do this for 5 reps. Really want to mentally focus on the form, because when you think about something, you're more likely to focus on it. So let's do this. I definitely feel my grip slipping. We got one more. I definitely feel like I did it better than the first set. I feel like I've got that hinge motion more. That's why it's good to record, because that way I can look back at my form, or having someone there who could critique my form. But unfortunately, Andre decided playing video games is more fucking important than the gym. Learn from Andre, but let's finish this off. We got one more set. See, most of the time I'm pretty opposed to people leaving their weights around. You want to do it now?
No, I just want to see you make the last.
Oh, okay. Now you put me on the spot. Oh man. So yeah, most time I'm against people leaving their weights around, but in this case it kind of worked out pretty well, because I am doing 25s and that's what was left. No, I said it before, but don't be afraid to use the band, especially because you want to maintain that consistency. Now I want to hit 8 reps for 3 sets, and I think probably getting into the second set, perhaps the third, I'll start to fatigue from the 8 reps. Maybe even now, man, that deadlift was pretty brutal. Speaking of which, going into the last set there, I drank some water prior to getting into my first reps. And honestly, I felt like puking. So definitely don't recommend that. I mean, you live and you learn, right? But again, don't be afraid to use this, especially when you're getting into those reps. You want to maintain that consistency. And it's a great way to train to get better at it. So, I mean, we're going to get right into this. Going to hit it for 8 reps, so. Last one. I got the pull-up master watching me right now, so I mean I have to perform for him. We got 2 more sets of this 8 reps. Use the band if you need to. You want to maintain the reps that you're started off with. Let's get this shit done. I feel though I should go more in depth as to who the pull-up master is. He is Max. He's from Poland. And the homie's a beast. He's like a black belt in judo or something of that form. And like with judo, of course, and like any sort of training martial arts, you really do want to be strong with your physical strength and be able to, you know, throw people obviously in judo. But all around, it's more practical to be more strong with your body weight than it is to be strong like in terms of heavy weights, especially at that, especially because you're doing weight cuts and shit like that. And like you want to have the strength of a 185er. And like hit like a 185er, but be weighing like 155. That's like the weight cuts and how those work. So they're, you know, obviously stronger than the weight they present. And then they'll bulk back up after the weight. But that's a whole different topic. But anyways, back to the topic. He is a pull-up master and he is a calisthenics master all around. Definitely someone I'm going to be going to when I start the muscle up program, rather muscle up training, path to a muscle up. I have, like I said, hit a muscle up before, but with the right form, definitely not. It was more just like fucking pure strength. And there is form to it, right? There is a certain steps you need to do to get the muscle up. And I guess that's how people get better, right? It's learning the form. Similar to anything, really. Everything has a structure, a base, and you got to build upon that. So, of course, we want to work on the form more than anything. But we are moving into our lat pull downs. Now, 2 things I need to talk about. Number 1, about the pull-ups again, I got to talk. But it kind of correlates into this because Max told me a little pointer about it and asked me a question. Why are you using a band when you're doing the weighted pull-ups? That's a great question. And honestly, it's a mental thing. It really is. I want to think mentally that I'm doing 8 reps with the 25 weighted belts, but in reality, it makes more sense for me to hit the amount that I could do with the weighted belt and then just to take off the weighted belt and do my body weight. So definitely, you know, I don't know everything. And of course, you know, there are certain things I need to improve on. It's always good to get criticism from people who know better and outside viewpoints because of course, you're kind of in your own mental, and that's kind of how that was, right? I wanted to think that I was lifting 25 for 8 reps for 3 sets, but in reality, I was doing 8 reps first set, 6 reps second set, and 5, 6 the last set. So definitely just gonna move on to taking off the weight next time. That way I could just use my body weight, right? It doesn't really make sense to use the band with the weight. So I guess, yeah, definitely a good pointer there. And you live and you learn. But why I'm talking about this is my first set, I was doing 70 kilograms, which is about 140 pounds, I think, if I'm putting it into the same translation as the other ones. And I did it for, I think it was 10 reps, or sorry, maybe about 8 reps. And then at the 8 rep range, I was kind of not getting the full range of motion. Now, what I mean by the full range of motion is I want to really emphasize the stretch on every exercise I do, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up. And doing that is going to allow you to get the maximum out of each exercise. And that's a little pointer from Dr. Mike Israel, I think's his name. Very smart guy. Renaissance Project, I think's his name of his channel and all that. But that guy's very fucking smart. Definitely someone to take advice from because he knows his shit. Also, obviously, control your eccentrics, aka the negatives. But once I hit that 8 rep range, at that weight, I was unable to do it, incapable of doing it for the remainder of my set with the full range of motion and controlness that I'm looking for. So instead of trying to ego lift my way through that and messing up the form, I dropped the weight, right? And that's still progressive overload. If I'm doing 8 reps with that, when I was doing no reps with that, I was doing strictly 120, or in this case, 60, for the whole 12 reps last week, or rather first week that I was doing it. So I mean, yeah, don't be ego. You know, lower the weight if you need to, and it, like I said, it correlates with that because again, that is ego lifting, right? I mean, using the band, can't fucking lift the weight. I mean, obviously you want to look for alternatives, and if you can't do your body weight pull-ups, then you should use the band. But I mean, hey, with the weighted plate, with the band, it doesn't make sense. He's right. But enough said, let's get into the set. 12 reps. See how many we could do at 170, getting that full range, that full stretch, and control the eccentrics, obviously. Okay, I'm feeling the form compromise, so I have 5 more at 60. You know what? My forearms are burning. 1, 2, 3. 2 more. Holy fuck, my forearms are on fire. It's probably because of the way I'm holding it. It's supinated. But we're supersetting with preacher curls. I'm forgetting the name for the short head of the biceps. So let's go do it. Last week I was doing the 80 pounds and I was struggling. You know, I wasn't getting the full range of motion, not full stretch, because no different than the back or any other muscle. The more range of motion, the more you're gonna get out of the exercise. Remember that, especially with dumbbells versus bench press. I mean, you get more range of motion with the dumbbells than you do with the bench press, so remember that. You want that full stretch. But I wasn't getting a full stretch with the 80 pounds. It's kind of getting it halfway and then bringing it up because it was heavy, right? So I wanna lower the weight, put a weight that I can actually do the full range of motion and obviously control it. But we're gonna get into this, 12 reps. We got one more set, finish the way we started, maintain the form, lower the weight if need be, but we do the right form. That's the name of the game. Let's get it done. All right, so we are gonna move into, I usually say the last one because this typically is in the workout program. However, the close grip rows, choking on the words, was taken. So I mean, we gotta just make do with what we have. And we have access to this right now, which is the back extensions. Kind of like a hyper extension, although I don't like saying that, but I guess you can say it is that. Make sure I got it lined up correctly, but I keep preaching and telling you guys how it's the goal to hit 1,000 subscribers by April 1st, 2024, which kind of makes me think to ask you guys, have you written down your goals? I mean, a lot of people have goals and ambitions, however, they don't write them down. And there's like a Harvard study, or perhaps one of the other universities, but needless to say, they did a study where they seen people who wrote down their goals versus people who didn't write down their goals. And the people who wrote down their goals are more likely to obtain them. So get very specific with your goals, write them down. Personally, I write it on my wall so I could see it every morning. That way I know that that is the objective of today and I need to do what I need to do to get closer towards that goal. Because then once you have an idea of the direction you want to go in terms of the goal, then you can just backwards program it to know what you need to do to get closer to it, right? Like let's say your goal is to hit $1 million in a year. Well, how much would that equate to a month? How much would that equate to a week? How much would that equate to a day? How much would that equate to an hour? You're very fine with it because then it's a lot easier, because $1 million in a year is kind of like a big number, right? It's not really, it's an objective, sure, but backwards programming it there, say, hypothetically speaking, like let's say that's, well, you'd have to make, what is that? Let's say 100K a month. I mean, it's a little less than 100K, but let's say 100K a month. If you divide that, that would equate to 25K a week. So I mean, 25K a week, it's a little bit more attainable than 1 mil a year, right? But you just gotta look at it that way. That way you can understand what you need to do, because then you can backwards program it, right? So that's kind of what I like to say, guys. Definitely write down your goals if you have not, because that's so imperative to whether or not you are going to obtain your goals. Because again, when you write down your goals, then it becomes a physical thing. It's not just an idea. And a lot of people just have the idea of what they want to do, but they never write it down. So take some time out of your day, write down the goals that you want in life. What's your 10-year goal? What's your 5-year goal? What's your 1-year goal? And so on and so forth. But writing down your goals isn't an end all be all. It's just a start, but definitely something I recommend doing. You need to believe in your goals, and you need to do what you need to do to get to those goals, because a goal without action, it ain't nothing, really. It's just a written down thing, right? So you got to follow through. But enough said, let's get into this. 225s. Got a double whammy today for 12 reps. Now this one I don't say recommend stretching fully, because then you can actually injure yourself. But get to a point where you feel comfortable and you're feeling the pressure on your lower back. Oh. Six. I am never ever thinking my whole life will I ever be a fan of that exercise, because that exercise is pretty extensive on your lower back and doesn't feel right. Well, it feels right, but it doesn't feel good. But I left I didn't bring over the dumbbells this time. I guess kind of a sense of laziness, but also just it's more practical for me to just walk over and grab the dumbbells. So I mean, gotta walk across the gym, get those extra steps in, but let's do this. So I always like doing these mirror shots because I guess it's just kind of more personable. Unfortunately, the lighting's not the best, so the muscles aren't showing as full as they could be with some downwards lighting, but that's okay. The name of the game is to get the workout in, not to show off the muscles. It does help with the viewership, of course. Now, I'm doing 35s here for the hammer curls to hit the bronchialis head of the biceps, but 35s were, of course, like usual, in the wrong spot. 35s were in the 55 spot, so put your weights away, but let's do this shit for 12 reps. I am definitely feeling a big pump in my forearms, but that's because of the compound movement of the hammer curls and also doing the supinated grip pull downs, because that fucking really hits your forearms and your lats, of course, because that is what you're trying to hit when you're doing a lat pull down. The wider the better though for your lats, but I did pull-ups, so I did want to have a bit of a mix. But enough said, we got 2 more sets of this. Let's get done. You know, it's funny. The first set for the hammer curls, I did 35 reps, or sorry, 35 pounds. Second set I did 40, and third set I did 45. That's not by choice, but at the same time, it's good to be pushed. But why that happened is because first set I did 35s, I put them down. I come back, 35s were in use, so I used the 40s. Then I come back after doing the set of the back extensions, and I come back and there's no more 40s, so I have to use the 45s, which is good because I guess I kind of pushed myself, right? So I did limit myself. That's something I didn't realize. However, 40 was the sweet spot. 45s, I noticed I was kind of doing a bit of arcing and using other muscles to compensate to lift up the weight. And you don't want to do that. You want to choose a weight that you're isolating the muscle you're trying to use and doing it the right way. So 40s felt like the most comfortable for me. 45s I could do, but like I said, I'm using my body weight. So I mean, can I actually do it? I'm not sure. But we're moving into the next and final exercise, superset rather, of the day, which is going to be the close grip rows. However, I'm doing it on a different machine because the machine that I wanted to use is taken. But I don't mind, I want to use this one. It's going to be more of a supinated grip. So I'm going to be coming in like this. But again, really emphasize that full stretch, right? Full range of motion, right? That's the name of the game. Learned that from Dr. Mike Israel. Shout out that guy, very smart guy. I did already, but can't shout out a nice guy enough, and guys give him the right information enough. But afterwards, we're gonna do some form of an incline. So I'm gonna sit on the edge of the seat and lean back and make sure my elbows are behind my body, because I want to hit the long head of the bicep to get the full bicep hit, right? I did the broncholi, I did the long head, I did the short head, now I'm doing the long head. But I don't want to talk too much. Let's get this shit done. Make sure everything's set up here, right? And of course, you gotta use your baby weights. Okay, I can make this more wider. 2-second breather. Lower the seat a bit too. 1, 2, straight as. Honestly, I could definitely see myself lowering the weight next set because I definitely struggle a little bit on the end. And the fatigue's just gonna keep getting worse, especially as I'm pushing myself and get deeper into the set. But let's do these incline now. We are at the end of the workout, which means we have 2 more sets of this. I want to push through it. I want to maintain the form, and of course, if need be, lower the weight if that means the form will be maintained. Don't be afraid to do that. But let's get this done. Finish the way we started, which is finishing strong and pushing ourselves. Workout is all done. We worked out a little longer than anticipated. And I also kind of understand at the beginning of the portion of this video was like 5 minutes long. So you're not gonna hear too much of me, but the reason why the workout was longer than typical is because I was having a conversation. I met 2 new individuals who blessed me with the fortune to hear about them and, you know, introduced me to them. So, I mean, shout out Daniel, shout out Angel. They also subscribe to the channel, so I always appreciate the support. I appreciate the support of every single one of you guys. We're 3/4 of the way to hitting fucking 1,000, and that's fucking awesome. I appreciate you guys so very much. We're gonna hit 1K by April 1st, even earlier I bet, but you know, we working hard. But you guys always need to talk to new people, because as human beings, we are, what's the word, talkable people, communicative animals, whatever the word is. We like conversation as humans. It's actually one of the reasons why people stay alive longer in blue chip countries. If you guys don't know, those are people who have life expectancy of over 100 years. So definitely things to learn from there, but one of which is having a community of people they converse with. And you know, we are talkable humans. We are talkable creatures. I'm forgetting a word, man. Conversable? I'm not sure. But needless to say, everyone has a story and everyone has things that you can learn from them. And you know, learning new things from people is always a blessing because, like I said, everyone has different stories. They've went through different hardships. There's always beauty in learning new things from new people. And more in a fitness context, learning how people implement fitness. Because fitness, like I said, is not a one-size-fits all. So it's good to learn from other people on how they implement it into their life, because some people are busier than others and they still make time for what matters. So I mean, shout out those 2 guys, shout out Angel, shout out Daniel, shout out every single one of you guys. If you guys are watching to the end, you guys are the real ones. I appreciate you guys so much. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like button. Drop a comment down below what you guys are grateful for, because it's Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is the day of love, but love what you have, so be grateful. So let me know what you guys are grateful for. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video, and guys, have a blessed freaking day and find your impetus. Goodbye.